then just optimize it, tweak it, and watch those leads consistently turn into clients.
You are listening to Amplify Your Success Podcast, episode 298. And today I'm taking you behind the scenes to discover the power of virtual events to reach more of your ideal clients. You ready for this? Let's get started. Welcome to the Amplify Your Success Podcast. Get ready to ramp up your revenue, amplify your impact, and make your mark in the world. This is the show for experts, thought leaders, and service professionals who want to shatter their limits and achieve that next level. You're going to find out from other experts and influencers how they made it. Now, let's get amplified. Hey there, inspired entrepreneurs and business leaders. Hey, I should make change makers part of this, right? Like, I know if you're listening to this, you're a change maker. You want to see a bigger impact in the world. I'm excited to bring today's guest to you. This is somebody who has just been slaying it in the world of virtual events, and he's going to share some ins and outs of what it takes to run really profitable and impactful virtual events. So get excited. If you've been thinking about ways to reach your audience and you're not interested or not ready to do live events, virtual events are still a really big part of our industry. And it's a great way to serve clients. Now, virtual events fits very nicely in one of the resources I often share here, the 7-step framework to add another 6 figures to your business by leveraging other people's audiences. You want to know how to fill your own virtual events? And I know our guests will talk about this a little bit today. Well, being a guest expert is a very powerful way to do that. I would highly recommend you go download my free resource at amplifywithmelanie.com and put the puzzle pieces together so that you can really start leveraging virtual events the way we talk about today. And that framework will help you have the foundation to blast off with those kind of events. Again, that's amplifywithmelanie.com. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back, Amplifiers. Today, we're going to be talking about the simple and quick virtual events that can fill your courses and programs. And I have a special guest with me today, Liam Austin. He is the co-founder of Entrepreneurs HQ and a virtual event strategist, having launched over 15 virtual summits, dozens of quick workshops, and many more online events, hosting over 400 speakers, whilst educating 100,000 plus business owners through his programs. Man, that was a lot of credibility in there, right? He knows his stuff, and we're really fortunate to have him joining us today. Now, Virtual Events at Sell is his 6-week implementation program, which makes it easy for you to create your own high-impact virtual events, from workshops and masterminds to summits and conferences, with the end goal of selling more of your high ticket offers. Liam is also the creator of the $1 Million Virtual Summit Program, where he partners with select clients to generate 7 figures and more. So, Liam, super excited to have you joining us today. We've had this on the docket for a while, and I always get to look forward to these juicy conversations with great experts like yourself.
Melanie, thanks so much for inviting me along. I'm excited to discuss this topic today, one of my favorites.
Me too. Okay, so just so everybody knows, I'm in LA. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Malta. So
where's Malta?
Yeah, Malta, the country. It's just directly south of Italy. So if anyone's been to Sicily before, we're about half an hour flight or a 3-hour ferry ride.
I have been to Sicily, so I have some context for that. And one of the things that I think is so amazing, about podcast guesting and the platform of a podcast, as well as what you're doing with these virtual summits, is you can be anywhere in the world and you can tap into expertise that in the past you'd have spent a boatload of money to get to. So I love what you're doing with the virtual summit model and the virtual events. And I think it's really filling a hole in what I think people have needed for a long time. So awesome.
Yeah, and it's definitely, it's taken off, hasn't it? Like the last few years, or at least it's become a bit more mainstream and a bit more acceptable to be working from home, like telling your friends, yeah, I'm not just sitting here at the couch all day. I'm actually doing some work at home. I don't have to be in an office. But like you can probably tell by my accent that I'm Australian. So I grew up in Sydney, and we started Entrepreneurs HQ because of those exact reasons, Melanie. Like we wanted to get access to expertise. We wanted to be at these big conferences, these events, to be mingling and networking and learning from others, some of the best experts in the world. And being so far away on the other side of the world, it is costly, not just in dollar terms, but in time as well. Time traveling, time away from the family, and so simple solution. Let's move it online. And so that's how we started creating these events for ourselves back in 2015.
Mhm. Okay, so first of all, I know that expense because I spent a lot of money to go speak on a tour in Australia one time. I was like, okay, that's an expensive investment in cultivating new relationships. But I'm just kind of curious. You mentioned that it's really taken off over the last few years. Do you think what we've been through as a society with the pandemic has heightened the need for virtual workshops?
It's growing every single year. It probably took a bit of a leap in the last couple of years. Just people were saying, "Wow, do you know what? I can get access to this training. I can implement. I can take action in these workshops, these online virtual workshops. And I don't need to learn from the local expert next door. I can actually learn from the number one expert or authority in the world. How? Well, I can just jump online." Right. So I think that realization that we don't have to learn from, you know, Mr. Professor or Mrs. Professor over here, but we can actually learn from Einstein, right? Well, maybe that, he's not alive, but the idea of being able to access the top professionals and experts in the world is really powerful. And I think now that people have become aware of this, now it's going to happen more and more. And so, yes, I think it's going to come on in leaps and bounds, and more people are going to be joining these types of events.
Hmm. Yeah, well said. I agree. So you mentioned virtual workshops and summits, and I'm kind of curious how you distinguish between the difference and how we know which one we should probably be focusing on for our business.
Oh, great question. So, two opposite ends of the spectrum, the workshop and the summit, and how I define it. The summit is a multi-day, multi-speaker event, whereas the workshop is normally it's you, it's the expert, it's the authority, or you're building your authority through that event by teaching for just 90 minutes on that workshop. So 90 minutes, just one speaker, which is you, versus a summit where you are hosting multiple speakers across multiple days.
Yeah. So let's dig a little deeper into that because I've done both and I personally have witnessed the differences, but I'm kind of curious, how do I know which one I should be doing in my business right now?
Right. So knowing, audiences of coaches, consultants, you've maybe have a high ticket offer, or you've got a signature offer, you're trying to sell, you want more clients. Um, Perhaps you're looking to get, an extra 2, 3, 4 clients this month. Then if that's the case, a workshop is the way to go. Why? Because it's just 90 minutes of teaching, which means that you can spend the rest of the time marketing, filling the room, getting bums on seats. So I typically say that if you want to run one of these quick workshops, giving people, the attendees, the participants, a quick win, a result from that event, it should be, the topic should be something that's really well known to you, that you've taught other past clients before that have told you, do you know what, that thing that you just taught me there really gave me an aha moment. It's really going to transform the way I move my business forward post this workshop. That's the type of topic we want to really narrow down into. And so we really know and understand our topic, and we can just spend the week leading up to that event promoting it, marketing it, spreading the word, and getting the word out. So once we have those participants, bums on seats, attending, they get that quick win. They get the result from the event itself. They see you as a go-to expert. They see you as someone that can get them results. How? Because you've actually delivered a result, unlike maybe other trainings or webinars that they've attended in the past. And they can trust you if they're going to work with you and become a client of yours, that you're going to get them the second result and more results after that. So they're willing to say, okay, well, in just 90 minutes, you got me this result. I want many more 90 minutes with you. Let's talk about working together for the next year. That's the workshop, the quick workshop win we want to deliver for people. The summit, on the other hand, it's a lead generator, and it takes a little bit more time than a week to set up. And you're involving multiple parties, right? Multiple participants. You might be looking at not just speakers, but also sponsors, media, affiliates, all getting involved to create your conference, your online event. So with that, it takes typically, we suggest 90 days, so 3 months from the idea conception all the way through to the event completed. And we've had at least 1,000 people going through the event, the summit. They're seeing you speaking and engaging and holding your own with all these other experts and authorities in your market. It elevates your authority, builds your email list, and allows you to now have conversations with those now warmer prospects on your email list about becoming a client. So there's just really two different approaches there. One takes a little bit longer, but it has a bigger impact and bigger results. Whereas the workshop is something that can be done quite quickly to generate, 1, 2, even 3 clients within the space of 1, even 2 weeks.
Mm. And that's very helpful as you break those down, because what I know and what I'm imagining someone listening in is thinking to themselves, like, do I want the quick win? And do I have enough list, or a big enough list, or a big enough community that I can hold my own virtual workshop? Or do I need to develop some leads and some connections and maybe leverage some of my colleagues and co-create a stronger list? And so it's worth spending a little more time developing that and doing a summit. So that's what I heard you when you're talking that through.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking at breaking into a brand new market, a summit is a great way to just announce yourself to your ideal prospects and create some great connections with other influencers in your market that become great referral partners for you. And I think that's a big part of the success of Entrepreneurs HQ and our business, is that we're generating a consistent flow of traffic every single week coming into the business. People are opting in for our events, our lead magnets, and they're going on to become customers, members, and even clients. I think the most powerful thing about this system is that once you've run the event for the first time, if it converts at each stage of your funnel, right, you're getting traffic, the traffic's converting to leads that are converting into appointments, that are converting into clients. All of that is converting at the rates and numbers that we want. And, we've done this dozens of times ourselves and hundreds of times for our clients. So we know typically what good performing metrics we need and benchmarks we need at each of those stages. If we've got that with the very first event that we run, whether it's a workshop or a summit or a giveaway or a challenge or a seminar, then we can turn it evergreen. We can turn it on demand so that people can get access to it any time. So if we've spent 3 months creating the summit, awesome, great. Let's turn it on demand so people can access that content, that training, that expertise at any point in time. They don't have to wait for a specific time for it to be released. And the same thing goes for the workshop as well. And when it comes down to it, no one wants to be launching all the time, running events every week or every month. It can become really stressful. So if we've already got a really good performing workshop, summit, seminar, webinars, or pretty well known for being turned evergreen, but there's so many other ways to do that. If you've got a funnel that's converting and working really well for you, yeah, turn it evergreen and then just optimize it, tweak it, and watch those leads consistently turn into clients, but grow as well, because you're making those tweaks, you're making those changes, so your funnel's improving, you're converting more, so you need even less leads to get the same amount of clients. And that's why I love this model. It's not just a one-off event. It's something that can provide you an asset that continuously brings you leads, sales, revenue, clients for years to come.
Yeah, very, very powerful. And I'm imagining that as we start to go down this virtual event path for ourselves and our own business, there might be some challenges that you're used to seeing people bump up against. Like, what are some of the things that can get in the way of people setting up a successful virtual event?
Oh, so many things, right? It's like the tech, the marketing, right? These are two things that typically our clients, my audience, don't really enjoy doing. They just want to get out there and spread their message out there in the world and coach and teach and make an impact. So the tech has got to be made really easy. And so we try to make that super, super simple, like really super low stress, or even just completely take it away for them. And same with the marketing. Like, we had over 100,000 people go through our events in the space of the first 18 months of our business. One of our clients, Carl, he gets over 100,000 people to his events now. So we have a really good idea of what motivates people and drives people to attend and register and become a lead and a prospect for your business. So we look at making sure we make the marketing really easy but effective as well.
There's something that I actually thought you might say, but I didn't hear. And maybe you think of this under the marketing, but I think one of the fundamental challenges, and I've certainly had this challenge myself, is positioning. Like the positioning of the type of workshop or summit. How do you think that plays out in the overall success of your event?
Massive, Melanie. So I mentioned Carl just a moment ago. And I've had people kind of come up to me and say, well, aren't virtual events dead now because everyone's like tired of being stuck indoors and doing everything online? They want to meet in person. They're waiting for in-person events to come back. No one's really showing up to these online conferences anymore, are they? And my answer is this, and it's really Carl's a great example. He had over 100,000 people join and register for his event during the pandemic. Just one event, he had 100,000 people register. Now, okay, you might say, 100,000 people, well, he's done pretty well, but his target audience are migraine sufferers. Migraine sufferers who get a headache when they stare at the screen too long, right? So these people were so motivated. They had such a strong pain. They needed a solution. They were desperate for a result. They saw this event and they had to attend. It didn't matter if it gave them a headache or not, right? These are migraine sufferers, right? They were going to be in pain for days afterwards, but they showed up. Why did they show up? Because of the positioning, the call to action, the promise, right? The promise of a result, a solution for people. If you are solving a big enough problem, people will be showing up for it. They will move mountains to be there. So if you're not finding anyone showing up for your event, but you've done all the marketing, you've shared with the world, you've got a ton of traffic, but just no one's signing up, well, definitely it's part of your messaging and positioning.
Yeah, I'm so glad you went a little deeper into that, because I used to host a live event that was a great event, but in the beginning of my career, what is this, 18 years ago, messaging was a really hard thing for me to figure out. And so I struggle with what to name it, how to position it. And I realized as I started to get better at that, I started to attract better clients, more clients, and my events would be fuller. And so that was a big muscle for me to develop. And I had to turn to a lot of experts like yourself at the time to get that positioning nailed down better. So we're not all born with the ability to do that well.
No, it's not always easy either, especially when we're so like ingrained in our own market or in our own business. Sometimes you do need an outsider's perspective that can just, give an answer, a solution that's kind of staring you in the face that may have taken, days or weeks for you to come up with. But just having that outside expert eyes and mind in your project can certainly help.
Yeah, it's like we need to complement our own skill set with people who that's their superpower, because otherwise we're leaving money on the table. We're spending energy on things that we could accelerate if we had the right support. So I agree. So I hope we're incentivizing people to want to start their own virtual event, and whether it's a workshop or a summit or whatever your version of that is, like, what are the steps that you would guide somebody through to create their own successful virtual event?
Oh, we've got checklists for that, don't we?
Yes,
But we've got to
good.
make it
Yay.
super easy for people.
Love the
um,
checklist.
yeah, I think like we've run, as you mentioned, like dozens of summits, dozens of workshops. We've turned them all evergreen, so they're out there generating organic traffic for us and leads coming into our machine, into our system. I call it our predictable income machine because it's a consistent flow of traffic, leads coming in, clients coming out the other end, and predictable results, right? Predictable income. So what really are the steps? It's a matter of making a decision. And I think when you look at these events, like, well, why should I do an event versus some other lead generation tactic or strategy? And it's about, if you want to be seen as the authority, the go-to expert in your market, in your niche, for your prospects, for your email list, for your audience. So it's easier for you to enroll them into becoming a client, right? Then running one of these events is for you, because you really do have an opportunity to showcase your abilities, give people results, give them a quick win, give them that realization that, hey, like, you're not just any old coach or trainer out there, consultant, but you're someone that's actually got them a result. And so you've suddenly just put yourself into a select few experts that have been able to get someone a result. And it's okay looking at testimonials and saying, wow, Carl got 100,000 people to his event. I couldn't do that. But suddenly, if you've got 10 people now registered for your event in the space of 90 minutes, and you're like, wow, this was pretty simple. This was easy. I was able to get that result. I wonder if I can replicate this and do it again and again. I would love to do it again and again. Let's continue working together. And that's the kind of conversation we want to have with our prospects and our clients, is just, how can we continue that relationship and work together?
Yeah, that's very well said. And well, here's what I've noticed is the people who are successfully positioning a virtual event of some kind, they're enrolling 10 to 50% more than people who are trying to use a lot of these old paradigm, old school methods of like doing an old traditional launch. Like, it's just, people are very discerning. People, our audience, they want to have rapport and they want to believe in you, that you're the person that's going to help them. And I think that's what's moving the needle right now. At least that's what I'm seeing in the market, especially the online market these days.
Yeah. And talking about the online market, like, it's massive, right? It's the whole world. And so now you're competing with like every, dog and cat out there. And so how do you differentiate yourself in the mind of your ideal client? Well, you get them a result. You get them a result quick, simple, and easy. And they then know for a fact, because they've experienced it, that you can get them quick, simple, easy results. And so who's the obvious choice?
Yeah, Totally agree. So, you've given us a couple great examples of how virtual events are filling people's courses and programs. So, I don't know if there's any more that you want to share with us about that. Like, if we've missed anything that you're like, okay, we need to make sure we cover this because it's such a big part of the puzzle.
Yeah, I think it's about just keeping it simple and knowing that the teaching aspect of it. When we're talking about these 90-minute workshops, we want to give someone a result in just 90 minutes. Well, how can we give them a result in 90 minutes? I'll give you just a quick example for people who might be coming up with their own quick quick result that they can get their clients in just 90 minutes, and that's one of my workshops that I call three referrals in just 3 minutes. So how can I'm actually it's a 90-minute workshop, right? But I can teach this in 3 minutes. I can show you how to get 3 referrals in just 3 minutes. Right. So I can quickly show people, open up LinkedIn, do a screen share of how to get 3 referrals. I can showcase that in 3 minutes. But now I've got another 87 minutes in the 90-minute workshop to actually help these participants to get those 3 referrals within that time frame, within the workshop. So we need to break down the topic, the positioning, the result, or the promise to something really simple and easy, such as 3 referrals in 3 minutes, but powerful, right? We're getting 3 referrals, which can really transform a business. 3 referrals in the next month. I'm sure people would love 3 referrals in the next month or the next week. So this is now a strategy that they can do every single day to get 3 referrals every single day for themselves in just 3 minutes once they've learned it. So I think just explaining that as an example of what we're trying to achieve here with our workshops and how different it can be from other trainings and webinars out there, that we just want to get a quick result, a quick win in as short a time as possible so that people realize, hey, I love this style, this system, this structure of getting quick, simple, easy results. I want more of it.
Yeah. Okay. So I have to take a excerpt from what you just talked about, your 3 referrals in 3 minutes or less. Uh, for you listening in, if you've been a long time listener here, you know that Liam just used what I call the rocks method, which is how you title things. That is so compelling. And I think going back to this positioning piece that you talked about, and I know this is probably a big part of what you help people do, really nailing that positioning, excuse me, and getting those titles compelling and exciting and showcasing how you're going to help people move into results. This is where the juice is. This is where your magic is going to take off in putting virtual events together. So I love that you showcase that, Liam. It's so perfect.
Yeah.
So, um, before we share a resource, I'd just love to know, like, is there people who are really perfectly suited right now to be doing virtual events that maybe haven't started doing that, and you'd really love to inspire them today to start doing virtual events?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking to generate more leads into your business, more clients, and make it easier to enroll clients, like you don't like the sales method, maybe feel it's really icky or sleazy, and you just want a more simple, easier way to create friends, people who love you and who want to continue working with you, then try one of these 90-minute workshops. Like our methodology in our quick workshop win program is just really simple, right? It's about making it easy for you to come up with that hook, the title, the positioning, and then being able to deliver that to a full room, including all the marketing. Like it doesn't this like sometimes we overcomplicate things. My soccer coach used to tell me that as a kid growing up. Like you just have to get the ball between the posts. That's all you need to do. And we're all talking about these different strategies and how we're going to move the ball around the field and pass it out wide. No, just focus on, we don't have to, sometimes as humans, we overcomplicate things, and it doesn't have to be that way. We want to make it easy for people. We want to make it easy for ourselves, right? So when we're creating these workshops, it can be really easy to set it up, and the type of delivery of the training, the result should be the same. It should be really simple and easy for them to achieve.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that simplify, because I don't know anybody in our industry that ever makes things too complicated, right? Just keep it simple. A lot less stress when we keep it simple.
That's it.
Liam, where's the best place to get started if somebody's like, oh, I really want to do this, or I'd really love to learn more about Liam?
Yeah, so there's a checklist that I want to make available for everyone. So if you go to quickworkshopwin.com, quickworkshopwin.com, you can download that checklist for free, and it just takes you through each of the steps needed to create one of these workshops that gives your clients a quick win, that leaves them wanting more from you, right? So they want to continue working with you and become a client. So there's a checklist there, and it's not just a checklist. It's like a 7 or 8 page PDF, and we explain some of the steps. But if you want to go into more detail, we do have our Quick Workshop Win program, which is our workshop on workshops. So you can go through that 90-minute experience to understand how we lay all of this out and structure it. And then there's some extra kind of bonuses in there if you decide you want to upgrade. But yeah, the checklist just gives you the step-by-step approach that we take to run these consistently, right? And when you run one quick workshop win, you can evergreen it and keep sending traffic to it. And now you've got this asset, this mini course, a product, maybe it's your first digital product that you can sell forever. Right? And this is maybe interesting for everyone. If you don't have a digital product yet and you're thinking, well, how do I create this thing? Run one of these 90-minute workshops. It'll take you 90 minutes to create this thing. Now you've got a digital product that you can go out there and sell forever. As long as the content's evergreen and it's still relevant, you can go on and sell it as a digital product forever. And then you can create multiple ones of these things, digital products. You can go out there and just use it as a way to bring in your ideal clients, get them to experience you, showcase your authority, your expertise, give them that result, that quick win. And then it's about just inviting them into having a conversation about becoming a client.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I've done that. Like I've recorded my 90-minute trainings and turned them into products, and sometimes those have been my best sellers. So that's a great strategy. I'm so glad you shared it. All right, so we will hook that up in the show notes for you if you've been scrambling for a pen, but that's quickworkshopwin.com. Liam, I love to ask a couple personal questions as we wrap up, just to get to know you a little bit better, because obviously you've had a lot of time to develop this expertise. You've probably been in business a bit. What would you say is the boldest thing you've had to do up to now to amplify the reach and the revenue in your business?
Right. So here's a nice little story that's pretty personal. Get to know me a little bit here, but our business Entrepreneurs HQ started because I met my partner Sarah, who was Swedish. She was studying in Sydney, Australia. Her visa was expiring, and she was being exported back to Europe. And we needed to make a decision, like, are we going to stay together? If we are going to stay together, where are we going to live? Is it going to be Australia or Sweden? And we both realized we love our families. We love our friends. We wanted to be able to be close to both of them without leaving either of them. And so we realized we needed to create an online business and generate online income and revenue. That was the motivation, the kick up the bum, I think, that we needed to create this business and launch our very first event. So a little bit of a personal story there, but if you've got something like a why, something that's really motivating you to create this online business, so you've got financial freedom, location independence, time freedom, then a quick workshop win is a great way to kick things off.
Yeah. There's probably no greater motivation than to find a way to make the relationship work and keep what you value most, which is family. And I think for a lot of people, that's the incentive these days, to take something that you love and find a way to, like you said, create independent or location independence. That's a great way to say it. So let's imagine that you're starting all over in your business and you're looking back from today and you realize, man, I waited way too long to do this one thing and I wish I would have done it sooner. It would have had a greater impact. What would that be?
I know exactly what it is. And it took me years to do it. And now I teach it as the first thing that our clients should do. And I'll backtrack it with a story. Like that very first event that we ran, we made 50,000 like US dollars just in ticket sales to that event. So $97 sales. These are VIP upgrades, right? So we sold 500 of them. We made 50,000 US dollars in the matter of a few weeks, and we were just like, "This is awesome! We've got this online business. This is all our dreams are going to come true. We can move between Australia and Sweden. Everything's great." But we left a lot of money on the table because we didn't have a back end offer. We didn't have a membership. We didn't have a high ticket offer. And if you want to really maximize your profits, your return on investment for your efforts, have a high ticket offer, right? So if you're running this workshop or a challenge, a seminar, a summit, have that next step for people to join you and work with you further, who want to go deeper, that want to get more results from you. Have a high ticket program that you can enroll them in, but make sure that it's built and designed in such a way that it's scalable, right? Like we've got this business and lifestyle, right? We're living in Malta, but we travel quite a lot, as you can kind of gather. But we need to have a scalable business that gives us the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom to be able to do all of these things without it feeling stressed or overwhelmed. So ensuring that the back end offer, that high ticket offer, is highly scalable and highly profitable is key. But even more important than that is just having one. And we didn't have one for many years. And yeah, that was probably definitely our biggest mistake. And it meant that we've lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions left on the table because we didn't have that asset in place.
Yeah. Yeah, I relate to that. I got schooled one time when I had an event, a live event, and people were like, "We want to buy something from you." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't have that set up." Yes, and imagine the impact that you can have knowing that you're taking people farther in their journey with you instead of setting them up to go work with someone else. So
it's so rewarding. So rewarding. Like you're selling all these like low ticket offers to hundreds of people, right? Our first event had 500, but we launched several events that year. So we had thousands of these low ticket customers that we didn't really get to know. But yeah, going and working in depth, deeper, more meaningful relationships, bigger impact, transformations of people, like it's really rewarding. And I've felt that. And yeah, the more I talk about it, the more anxious I feel that I didn't do it earlier. So, all
right, well, we'll change the subject. We don't need to leave you in anxiety today, but it's a real opportunity, I think, as you're listening in today to do that check-in with yourself. Like, do I have my journey set up? And, yes, get out of the gate, get it going. If you don't have it all set up perfectly, that's fine, but make it part of your own evolution and intentionally build out all the pieces so that you don't wait too long, as Liam mentioned. So Liam, thank you so much for joining me today. I don't know about you as you're listening in, but I am super inspired to revisit the virtual events. I hope you'll go get his free guide to workshop wins at quickworkshopwin.com. And Liam, thank you for doing this work in the world and being an inspiration for location independence along the way.
Oh, you've been a very gracious host. Thanks very much for having me along, Melanie.
Thanks for tuning in today, Amplifier. Be sure to join us right now in the Amplify Your Authority community at authorityamplifiers.com, and I'll share my 7 proven tips to be a highly paid expert that stands out in a crowded market. Plus, we're going to keep this conversation going, and I want to hear from you how you're going to amplify your authority and make a greater impact. Before you go, please take a minute to give our show and our guests some love over on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe, rate, and review. Leave your full name and I'll spotlight you and your authority on social media.